Howdy folks, I come to you from the Rocky Mountains in Colorado. And what's better in the Rocky Mountains than having an off-road capable vehicle that makes you feel alive when you're bouncing around in the hard dirt, going over boulders and going through all different types of terrain and of course the elements that are up here in the Rocky Mountains. But unfortunately, I don't really bring you a car that's going to be doing that, much less a pickup or a crossover SUV with a pickup bed. And that's because what I have here is a 2024 Hyundai Santa Cruz XRT, a new trim level that promised to be a little bit more rugged, a little bit more off-roady maybe, but it's really not. What it is for those people who really want to order everything out of the book. You bought your vehicle and you want to just, yes, I want everything there, put it all on there. That's what this vehicle is all about. So let's take a look at it. Follow me. Now, I brought mine here. What a surprise, it's the same color. Just so you can see a comparison, okay? They are not the same trim. They're not even in the same league, really, because this one has standard the 281 horsepower four-cylinder turbocharged engine, which is beefy and makes over 300 pound-feet of torque, and has the dual clutch transmission, which has recently been tamed and works much better than it did with the previous model, which we had several recalls on, but it certainly does run better now. Now, what you are looking at is exactly how this vehicle comes. The XRT is essentially a package that goes right under the Limited. So it's not the very top of the level. It doesn't give you all the goodies, but it gives you a lot of the goodies. So I want to start from the outside because that's primarily what we're talking about here. So let's start in the front. Now, if you were to look over at my Hyundai, which is pretty close to a base model, and then this one, you're going to notice that the front grille has like a black chromed out look. That's actually standard for the nicer versions of this vehicle. But when you lower yourself down further, you're going to see that the cladding on the bottom, that little black blocky thing, which actually I think makes your approach angle even worse, that is part of the package. So that black section there that has those mean looking little bricks, yeah, that's not, yeah. Anyway, so that's part of the package. Then we're going to move up and over to the wheels. Those are the same wheels I have, except there's a huge difference. That baby is a red center cap. That is off-roady. Yeah, so then we're going to move on to the tires because the tires are exactly the same. Actually, this is my biggest disappointment right here. Everything else I'm kind of joking about and whatever, but some of you guys might dig it. But this is, I think, we'll all agree, Hyundai should have put on some sort of somewhat off-road capable tire. It doesn't necessarily have to be a BFG like I have. There are so many brands out there that make somewhat off-road capable tires that are relatively quiet and fuel efficient, but are more off-roady. These Kumos are basically the same tires that the car comes with standard. And to me, that's just, for what you're paying, no, you know, come on, guys. All right, there's more, because have a look here. You may notice how wide and how fat the fender is. That's because this garnish that they have on here, if you quickly glance at mine, you're going to see that it's a significantly different setup. That's a very thin section of plastic there, but over here, much thicker. Now, by the way, almost everything I'm pointing at, you can order through Hyundai for your vehicle and put on later on. Keep that in mind. So this is one of those things. By the way, I believe this pops open and you can put a GoPro here. So that way you can focus it downward and show everybody the tires that are not very exciting. Okay, let's go on to a couple other things here. Matte mirrors. Now, if you look at mine are green. So are my door handles. They match the body color. This one, which by the way, I like this part, is matte. So is door handles. That kind of looks cool, I think. It's, you know, it's kind of give or take. If you bought a black car, I guess it wouldn't matter. But anyway, the matte finish looks all right. Now this garnish here is completely unique to this. Once again, something you can buy through Hyundai and put on your Santa Cruz. So you got this. But look where I'm going. I'm pointing down. Those are steps. My sister essentially is a hobbit. She's 5'1". I think in most states she's considered a little person, and as such, she would need help getting into a mid-sized pickup truck from time to time. But this vehicle, and the whole purpose of these things, is to make them very simple for most humans, including someone as short as her, to get into them. But this is completely unnecessary. I don't understand the need for this. Even with little ones, and I've had little ones before. I swear a 3-year-old can climb in here without the use of these steps. Not only that, but I was trying to figure out a reason for them. The cameraman and I were talking before we started shooting, and I was like, well, wait a minute, I got an idea. If, I don't know, you're in some major city and you're a bodyguard and you have to have, an Uzi and you have to ride along the side of the car, it makes sense. However, that's only with the door open. The door closed, at least with me, I can't even, yeah. And that's another thing. If you have something up on the roof, because you can get a roof rack system set up for these things, stepping here, at least if you have big feet, not so great, right? You have to have the doors open in order to really get a good step on these, right? Because then you have the door out of the way. Yeah, you could step on it then and access your roof thing. You can also step here and access your roof. Here's my problem with that. Aside from the fact that the car is already low, I mean, it's like 8.7 inches of ground clearance maximum. You lose a ton of ground clearance. That is over 3 inches of loss. In addition, it has about an 18-degree breakover angle without the step. With the step, I mean, come on. It's making this more off-road worthy and putting these steps on here is exactly the opposite of what you really want to do. So I don't really understand the need for this. That's probably my biggest issue. Everything else, the garnish is, okay. Speaking of garnish, let's move on towards the back because there's more. Let's start from the bottom and work our way up again. Now, the rear bumper, once again, different than mine. And that's essentially because of the black down here. That stuff, it's different. And that's part of the XRT package. Speaking of XRT, this big badge is how you can tell the difference between a limited or an SEL, I have an SEL, or this, the XRT, which is right up there near the top. Then, there's these. Now, I've been shaking this car all day long, and they're strong. So it's a tie-down point, right? It's a rail that goes along your bed, which is cool. And I actually kind of dig this, except if you ever were to put something on this, like a shell, if they ever build one, or, some other component like a rigging that goes up and over for a rear tent or whatever, this would be in the way. But it looks like it comes out with a couple large screws. So nice to know that they built something like this, and it really just feels solid. So I could tie down something heavy because mine doesn't have all the cool tie down points that this one does. Now this is all comes standard with this, by the way. That's including this bed tonneau cover that retracts. Now, I could have gotten this, but a couple of reasons why I didn't. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad they did that. Anyway, I'll leave it. And that's because you lose a lot of space by having this in here. The whole box, if you look down there, you can clearly see it takes up a lot of space, and you don't have a lot of space to begin with. So by having this, not great. If you want space. If you want security, this is awesome because it fully locks and it's hard. So that's, depends on what your needs are. Now, this setup here has more going for it than mine, and that's because it's got these side cleats here. And these can be adjusted, and this is super utilitarian, and I love this, and I'm kind of bummed I don't have it. Because without that, you only have a few rings. This ring here, there's one down there, there's this you could tie down to, and then if that box wasn't in the way, there's nothing on the bulkhead that can really hold anything down, which I've noticed is an issue. So by having this, and you move it all the way up, you would actually have tie-down points really close to the bulkhead, which is great. But there's more. Check this out. I believe it's on this side. I might be wrong. And I'm wrong. But there's storage here. Mine has that. But this also has these LED lights in the bed integrated. Now without these, you still get a little bit of light coming from over there, where they're just beneath the brake light. but it's not a lot. So having this set up is more utilitarian, especially in the middle of the night. And I've actually recently had to deal with that. Now this should have, is it in there? Can you see, camera dude? Okay, cool. There should be, there it is, 115 volt setup. Mine doesn't have that. However, honestly, it's a little bit of a letdown because you really can't run anything. I heard someone tried to run a coffee maker off it and it didn't even work that well, if at all. So maybe a really small one that is low wattage, but yeah. Okay, everything else is pretty much the same though in the back. That's including the storage unit back here. This is one of the highlights, by the way, of this thing. Yeah, it's not as big as the one that's on the, was it the Honda, but the Ridgeline is a bigger vehicle altogether. This is really utilitarian, and I've used the hell out of this. Oh, there goes the lights. You can actually, oh, wait, oh, I get it. So when I open this, they turn on. See the light? Yay. And it's not normally that blue color. That someone left the little thing on it, you know, the cover. And I don't want to pull it off because I don't want to get yelled at. And Roland would be like, hey, you deliberately did that just to damage the vehicle. Oh, wait, there's more. I forgot to show you one more thing. Look, raised black letters. Santa Cruz. Yeah, so on mine, if you look on the back of it, it's different. It's just sunken in. And now here's the thing about that. There's a couple different things you can do. If you bought a Santa Cruz and you want those letters to be seen, if you're proud, you can get stickers that go right in there and that'll bring it out. Or you can buy something very similar to that and literally shove them on there because they're just essentially taped on or glued on, if you will. So, yeah. But as I was showing you before, my bed, and this is going up to the middle level of Santa Cruz, I don't have those cool lights. I don't have the 115 volt setup here. I don't have the sliding tonneau cover. I don't have those bars that come up and over, nor do I have that really cool moving cleat system. Nope, mine is rather simple. I apologize for having this in the back of my vehicle, by the way, but check it out. You know what's cool? Yeah. If you have these, fits perfectly like that. Won't move around when you're driving around. If someone tries to steal it, they're going to have a really hard time doing it. Okay, so let's talk about the inside, because there's only one thing that really makes it different than a regular Santa Cruz. Come on over here. See, that center cap really does stand out, though, doesn't it? I mean, if you turn and look at mine next to that, you're like, oh, he was cheap. He could have gone for red. I could take a marker and just, I guess, my wife's nail polish, I could probably steal that. Have a look on the inside there, because if you look at the seats themselves, there's two things that are unique. Now, once again, this is a package that, or actually, I'm sorry, a package. This is a trim, not a package. So this gives you something unique. And these seats are black H-Tech seats, H-Tech. So either you want to call it leatherette or really nice vinyl, either way. But actually, they're very comfortable and squishy. In addition, they also are power, and they have lumbar, which mine does not have. Mine is power, but doesn't have lumbar. And because this is nearly the top of the line, of course, you have the big screens, digital IP, all that stuff is right there, just like the top of the line models. But just like those top of the line models, you still have hard plastics in some areas that I'm not happy about. And I really wish Hyundai would stop it with that. All right, let's talk about what this really is in terms of the pocketbook, because the 2024 Hyundai Santa Cruz XRT all-wheel drive, that's what they say here, all-wheel drive, even though that's the only way it comes. In fact, it only comes with the turbocharged engine, it only comes with the dual clutch, and it only comes with a lot of other accessories I haven't mentioned before, such as the sunroof and, of course, the sliding rear glass. Those are things that you don't get standard on other models unless you work your way up to, say, the Limited. Now, with all of this stuff in here, the base price for this is around $39,000, but this one comes in at $41,635. That's with the inland freight and handling fee of $1,335. So that's how you get up to that price. In addition, there's the Sage Gray for $450, which is a hell of a good color, right? It's not even gray, it's green. I don't know why they say gray. Sage is whatever. So, is it worth it? Personally speaking, I say nay. For that much money, frankly speaking, I think that you could get pretty much the same vehicle without some of the garnish that's kind of unnecessary and save yourself a couple grand. However, there are people out there, and I know a few personally, who are like, no, I want all this stuff. I want everything that you can possibly tack onto the vehicle. As such, it'd probably save you a couple grand because it's all there standard. They put it on there and that's how it comes. If you're serious about off-roading a little bit, light off-roading like I do in this, I probably wouldn't recommend the side steps. In addition, I really, really wish that if Hyundai was going to advertise the XRT as some sort of off-road action thing, package, limited trim type thing, yeah, tires, please. But hey, the good news is the raised black letters look really cool on the back. Some of you guys might really dig the much thicker fender flares that it has, and perhaps that center red cap is your cup of tea. If so, then perhaps this is the direction you want to go. Once again, this is for the 2024 model, which has just come out. And for those of you who want all the stuff and all the extra little gingerbread, perhaps this car's for you. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.